Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. This time out, we are joined by bluesman extraordinaire, Coco Montoya.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for being here. You're just swinging by, just passing through.
Just happened to be passing through, and you stuck me in this room.
Yanked you in here and said, hey, you're doing an interview.
Yeah, I thought I was doing the border at Canada.
So you're in the middle of a tour. You're just kind of passing through Fort Wayne on the way to the next gig?
Yeah, we're on our way to Topeka, Kansas, and we got a couple days, and whenever we get near Fort Wayne, we always make this little pilgrimage down here to
we appreciate
go to the store and look around.
Right, see what's new and cool, right?
Yeah.
Right, fun stuff. So you came out of Santa Monica, California, right?
Yeah, I was born in Santa Monica, California.
Right. How did you end up in the blues coming from Santa Monica?
Well, out there at that time, I met a lot of blues guys. A lot of them had moved from Texas and so on, especially from Texas. There's a lot of them that came over into L.A., so I had the opportunity of playing with guys like Big Joe Turner, Albert Collins,
Right.
Lowell Fulson and people like that. So it's kind of a neat chance to really get a firsthand, teachings from the masters.
Right. But you were a drummer originally, right?
Yeah, started out as a drummer. Started out as a drummer. Did that for most of my early career. Played with Albert Collins for almost 5 years on drums, and got out of the music business and came back into it as a guitar player.
Oh, how about that? So did you start playing guitar then while you were with Albert, or were you already playing guitar at that point?
I was already dabbing into it. I had a guitar, an acoustic guitar when I was 13, and that's pretty much when I learned my chords and some things,
Right. So was it the kind of situation where with him you're playing drums, you get out of the gig and you say, show me something? What did you just play there? What was happening? Was it that formal, or was it more just picking stuff up?
No, it was never that formal. That was the beauty of it. I had found somebody that was like mine, because Albert didn't have a lot of technical knowledge. He just had experience, and you just learn from listening and absorbing somebody, and that's how I learned from Albert. And people like that is just, you got to watch, listen, and learn. That's how you did it. None of these guys were ever going to turn around and time for your lessons, There was nothing like that.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
Right. What an education, though, to sit there beside his amp, I assume, kind of hearing his licks all night long.
Yeah, an incredible experience. He would give me his second guitar, and I'd have it in my room if we had some days off, and then he was very, patient with me. I mean, he tuned in an open F minor.
Wow.
And I would retune it standard and try and, because I didn't have an electric guitar, but I used to take it to jam sessions and stuff like that. But yeah, I had a great opportunity, and just people like him and just taking me under their wing.
Right. Well, you retuned it standard, but you're left-handed. You play upside down without restringing, right?
Right.
How did you decide to do that as opposed to getting a left-handed guitar and playing it?
I think it's just like anybody that does play like that. It's not a conscious thing. It's just you're left-handed. You pick it up left-handed. There's nobody around to say no.
Right.
You don't know any better.
Flip it over and
you don't know any better.
Yeah.
So you just do it.
Right.
If there's nobody to tell you can't, then you obviously just do. So that's kind of how it works.
Right. Do you think that contributes to you having the unique sound that you have? The fact that you play that way?
I can't really say it contributes in any way. I don't know. I once asked that of Otis Rush. He plays Greg Wright's another guy, a great guitar player. And we don't know. It's just, it's normal to us. And it's just, we're actually we can read a right-handed guitar player on the stage, but when we play together, we start laughing because we really can't read what each other's doing, because we're up here, it's not there. It's you're not used to saying it as well as everybody else.
Right.
It's just as confusing.
Yeah, right. That's great. So you stepped out of the music business a little while, but you stepped back in a big way, because you came back in with John Mayall.
Well, that was the other amazing. I don't know what to call it. It's just amazing. The two amazing experiences in my life where Albert Collins comes into your life and decides wants to take you under his wing, and then later in life, not even in the business, and John Mayall offers you a seat in the reforming of the Bluesbreakers, which was there was no way I could ever imagine that would ever happen.
Right.
So it took something like that to get me back in the music business, and of course, just to be a bluesbreaker would have been.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fine. If I'd lasted a month, I figured I'd have been okay. I did it.
Well, clearly you had kept your chops up. You were still playing.
I was playing. I was having fun playing just jam sessions and stuff like that. I wasn't doing any gigs because I got away from the business, and I was really enjoying just experiencing music for music's sake. When I had a steady day job, I was making money, so that
Right.
wasn't an issue anymore. So I was really enjoying the time where I was just a weekend warrior, I guess, you know. But when John Mayall offered the chair to me, I said I better take advantage of this.
That's pretty tough to say no.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience.
So how, I have to ask, I mean, I'm sure you've had this question a million times, but how is it to step into the chair that's been occupied by so many superstar guitarists?
That double-edged sword, you know,
Yeah.
it's like at first you're ecstatic, it's unbelievable, look where you are, you know, you're going to take this leap, and then after a while that wears off, and then you start realizing that there are the ghosts of Eric Clapton and Peter Green, Mick Taylor, and
Right.
Harvey Mandel, and I'm thinking, you know, and on and on and on, you know. Yeah, that can tend to get to you, because then you feel that maybe that's what you have to, you know, you have to do what they did, or you got it up against you that you have to prove yourself, you know. And I think John was really, really great about that. In fact, I think he gave me a good talking to one night. He just finally said, look, I didn't hire you to be Eric Clapton. I want you to play these songs as you're going to play them. You're forgetting rule number one of blues. And it was amazing. I said, he's right. Interpretation is the main rule of blues. You know, it's not if you can imitate Eric Clapton or if you can imitate T-Bone Walker. It's not about that. It's how you're going to play that song that evening. And that's really what John brought me back and put me on track to actually be more successful at the job.
Right.
Yeah, he's a big help.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So how does one go about putting their own stamp on songs like that people know so well?
Well, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with technique and how, your ability to play and how well you woodshed and all that sort of thing. I'm sure that plays a factor, but I think the main thing about blues and more of a roots and soul-like music is to not think. Like Albert Collins used to always tell me, don't think about it, just feel it. And a lot of people don't quite get that sometimes. You know, I understood right away. It's just play what you feel as opposed to what you think is right.
Right.
You know, and that's really to me, when I see a guy play, if I see him going for things that aren't cliche and that are, you know, whether he makes it or not is not important. The idea is he's trying for something, and he's taking the song somewhere else. You know, that evening, this is his version of that song.
Right.
You can never get tired of Stormy Monday if the guy's going to do it his own way.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Is that a matter of having enough technique in your pocket that you can just play and not have to and know the guitar well enough, or how do you get to that point where you can just let that go and then just express yourself?
Well, I think it's all, you know, it's like everything. It's start off emulating all your idols. I mean, I mean, every guitar player I ever talked to said, yeah, during this part of that time I was playing like Michael Bloomfield because I wanted to do everything like Michael. And at this time, I discovered Eric Clapton, so I wanted to be, I was nailing everything that Eric Clapton did. And then, Freddie King, the originator, now Eric, I'll go back to what Freddie King was doing, you know.
Right.
And of course, with me, Albert King and people like that, and Albert Collins, they're all influences, but you take all these influences and you mesh them and you come in with, you know, eventually, you know, the soup tastes like how you cooked it. You know, it's the same recipe they use, but
Right.
it's a process. It takes time for you to come to that place and just have your own personality. It's like it's an individual as we all are. Is playing too. It can be very much that. You know?
Right, right. Does the fact that you're also the vocalist in your band influence that? Is that part of what you do with the guitar?
I think it does influence in a lot of ways. I think vocalists, that's a whole nother like separate heroes, you know, people that sang. I never really sang like I want to be a singer, I'm going to be a singer. I never really thought of it that way. I thought of it as a necessity. You know, it's like being a drummer. I thought it was a necessity at starting off early to learn how to play some chords, and instead of just drum beats, I wanted to hear some melodic, you know, an instrument, you know.
Right.
So guitar started out to be because I wanted to be able to play Beatles songs. I wanted to be able to do this stuff, you know. And singing, there's a whole plethora of incredible singers that I listened to that inspired me on that instrument, which is they both work great. I think Eric Clapton said it once. He goes, actually, when he plays guitar, he thinks of, say, a vocalist, like singing. which is that's an amazing idea. It's true. It's a concept. It's great. Because really, when you think of it that way, it is kind of like singing and phrasing, you know, same thing.
Right, right, right. So somewhere 1993, 1994, you reached the decision to leave the Bluesbreakers and to do your first solo album. What brought you to that point?
I think it was just a natural, you know, a natural move. It just was happening. Things were just happening in my life that I was getting off drugs and getting off alcohol, and dealing with the cancer that was going to take Albert Collins' life. Albert Collins was like a father to me. So a lot of these things were happening all around that time. And been with John 10 years, grateful, enjoyed playing with him, wonderful guy. But you had that feeling it was time for something else, but you didn't know what, you know. So it was the right move, and John was very, very helpful, you know, when we discussed it. And he said, "Yep." He said, "This is what I wanted to get you to someday. You know, you go do your own thing." And and it was great. He was really, really wonderful about it. And all these changes happening with Albert passing away and stuff, it was just time for me to either get out again out of the business or move forward.
Right, a new chapter.
New chapter, yeah.
Right, right. So how was it making the move from being the guitar player in a band that's totally established to then being the band leader and it's you out there and you're up in front?
That's, you know, I must pat myself on the back. That takes a bit of bravery. You got to be brave. I mean, it's just, you know, it's running your own store is a really amazing experience, and just dealing. You know, you see your guys, your sidemen, going through the things that you went through, and now, but you're in a position where you have to, you know, this is the way it's going, guys. This is what we're going to do, and you have to take it. You know, you have to be the authority. It's difficult. It wasn't easy. It's not an easy transition, but you know, I probably would have never have done it if I hadn't gotten sober, and I probably would have never been able to do it without, you know, the teachings of John Mayall, especially. He was so good at running his business. He's amazing. He's in his 80s now, and he's spot on with everything. You know? He's amazing. He's an amazing man, and so you know, that's where all that came into play. Everything comes back, and you realize, yeah, I remember when I did that. I remember when I did this, or I said this, or I know why he's feeling rejection, and this guy's, you know, his ego's getting out of hand over here, and you got to gently try and, you know, it's there's a lot of it, and you got to watch yourself because you know, if you're being the focus, you know, the main focus in the deal, you know, you got to not take yourself too dang serious.
Right. Right. So after numerous albums and all the touring that you've done and tremendous number of gigs and things, how do you keep it fresh when you're working within the framework of the blues?
For us, I think to keep it fresh is I encourage my guys to mess around a little bit. We have certain, you know, cues and things for the show that we're going here, we're leaving, we're stopping, the song's coming to an end type of thing. But I always encourage the guys to don't lose that little bit of experimentation in the middle of anything. It could be a strict ballad, or it could be a, you know, pushing on pop stuff or whatever, you know, it could be that, or especially straight ahead blues, you get to really open up. Right. But I think that's what it is, and not to worry too much about the you know, the warts and the, you know, the open wounds that come from a night of playing, you know, we make mistakes, we laugh, we smile, and you know, yeah, I think that's what makes things really interesting every night. What's it going to be like, you know? You know, we laugh. We go, "Hey, I knew where you're going. I knew you were trying for. That's great. You didn't make it, but yeah." But that happens, and I'm included. I mean, I'll do stuff, and I'll look at the guys and just go, "Well, that was me, guys." But I think that's from the old days. That always makes everything interesting to me. I mean, too much perfection is not too healthy for me. I don't think. I like the little imperfections. Yeah, I've grown to love them instead of worried about the criticism. Right.
So speaking of keeping it fresh, you have a new album, Songs from the Road.
Yes.
Double live CD.
Yeah, it's something I never thought I'd ever do.
Well, tell us about it.
Well, through all these, the solo career, I've been asked by a lot of people to do a live album. And I've always, once again, this is where I was always too critical of myself, and I said no. I make too many mistakes. I don't, I couldn't listen to that, knowing I clammed that many times. But I ended up with these guys, with Brant Leeper on keyboards and Nathan Brown on bass and Renee Beavers on drums. And this unit just, it felt good, it felt right. And we were playing some gigs up in the Northwest, and we played a place called the Triple Door. Mm-hmm. And we covered a couple nights, and it came out great. We just loved the feel of everything, so hence the first live album I've ever done.
Nice.
I did one with John, but that was John's thing.
Right. Yeah. That's great. So it's been out now a couple months.
Yeah.
And you're out touring in support of the album? And
Yes, indeed. We're out all the time. We plan to just, that's what we do. We're a live touring act. Mm-hmm. That's really the basis of the whole band. We go in the studio and do something, we got this live album to do, but basically the main thing we do is go out and just hit the clubs, hit the festivals. And
Right. That's great. That's great. And that's going to keep you busy now for the next couple months. Look like your schedule's fairly
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Well, we're glad I brought you by here.
Wow, very, very
We
glad
wish you were
to be.
gigging here.
Oh, I know.
I would have loved to come to see the show. Come back.
I know we'll be back here, and then, like I said, when we come back here, we come out to Sweetwater and hang out a little bit.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Annoy you guys,
Well, we appreciate it.
I was talking to the boys earlier. I said, what's that? Yeah, I'm going to get in there and get to the guys and go, what's that do? Can I see that? And how about that way up there? Can you get me that down?
Right. Find the hardest thing to get to.
Nah, I don't
They
like
love
it.
that.
Put it back.
They love that.
That's a great place. Sweetwater's a great place to hang out.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming over and taking time on your day off to do this interview with us.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Thank you
We
for
appreciate
having me.
it.
Thank you, boss.
Right. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear.